Championship week. We're here. We made it. We made it to the end. I don't know how to feel. Do I feel excited to win some championships this week? Or do I feel kind of sad that the season's about to be over?
Yeah, it's a little bittersweet.
It's a
I
little
guess
bittersweet.
I guess every year we have this where you're upset to see fantasy football go, but at the same time, like at least there's still the playoffs. So it's not like all of a sudden football just completely stops.
Yeah. And I don't have to make any content for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's always nice. That's always nice.
I'm also feeling kind of bittersweet about that as well. I'm gonna miss it.
Yeah.
But I definitely looking forward to the break. Usually take about 2 weeks, and then I start getting into rookie stuff pretty hard.
Yeah, I've got some things that I want to hash out in the off season to get started for next year. It feels so weird to say that I'm
Yeah.
already thinking about next season because I usually just kind of fly by the seat of my pants. But yeah, so because I'm thinking about launching a podcast this summer and just doing it sparingly during the summer, whenever there's a lot of news and notes.
Mm-hmm.
And then once the season starts, have all the kinks worked out so we can do a show every week.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that. But there's a lot that's going to come along with that for it to be where I want it to be when it's ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and for what happens for me here in about usually divisional round week, so when I start diving pretty hard into the rookies. Now this year I kind of started to get a head start over the last month or so. So I've got a handful ready to go. Just trying to get ahead of the game so that we can get our rookie guide out a little bit earlier this year. 2 years ago, we didn't get the rookie guide out until we just had a post NFL draft version. And then last year, I was like, you know what? I really want to get a pre-NFL draft version. So we got that done. This year, I'd like to get a couple weeks earlier than what we did last year. I'm going to try to do probably like a weekly rookie show on top of my, rookie individual profile videos that I typically do. So I'm going to try to add that to things. So we'll see how it works out. But
yeah, I remember the rookie guide that we put out last year was fire. It looked really, really good and had a lot of really awesome information. So
that was my favorite. I think probably
calling for that.
I think of all the pieces of content I've ever made, that's probably the one I'm the most proud of.
Yeah,
I'm looking to up the game on it this year as well. But we're here. We're week 17. It's championship week. Jay is here. We love Jay. Jay is asking Sam Darnold or Bo Nix half PPR.
I'm gonna have to say. It's good to know that it's half PPR.
I got them back to back.
I've got them separated by 2. I tell you what, if you'd have caught me 2 weeks ago, I would have said Bo Nix hands down. But Cincinnati has just forced like 6 turnovers in the last 2 games. And they're getting some pressure on the quarterback. I think they're both going to have good games, but I would feel more comfortable playing Darnold, considering that Cincinnati has everything to play for this week.
Yeah, I've talked about Bo Nix as a great play this week in a couple spots. I made a video earlier this week. He was my rookie play of the week. And we did our Sleepers and Streamers show last night, which, by the way, if you haven't caught that, make sure you go back and check that out. I talked about Bo Nix as like the top quarterback streamer of the week. With that said, in this case, I am going to lean Sam Darnold. I have Sam Darnold ranked as my QB6 this week. Bo Nix as my QB7. I really don't think you can go wrong with either one. Flip a coin, but I would lean Sam Darnold. I think that's going to be one of the fantasy points parties of the week.
Yeah.
Points in that game, ton of passing, ton of touchdowns. It's in Minnesota, in the dome, so we don't have to worry about any weather. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, well, we just said last night, if you have anybody from either team in that game,
Fire them up. Yeah, fire them up. Now we still gotta wait for more questions. This is the
I like what Bo Nix has become. You know, it seems like just yesterday that in my some of my dynasty drafts, I kept getting him falling to me at the very well. I would have a pick like the 111. And I was not sold on Jonathan Brooks. And I thought it was still a little early to take Benson. And almost all my teams, to a man, needed quarterbacks. And 9 times out of 10, I had already taken one earlier in the first round. And I was like, all right, well, I'll see what happens with Nix. I have no idea what he's really going to bring to the table. And you know, for 1 year in, I'm really, really pleased with the way that has turned out so far.
Well, if I remember correctly, right before the NFL draft last year, we did a yards per fantasy analyst rookie mock draft. And you were the only one on the stream that appreciated Bo Nix. It was actually a fan of Bo Nix. You talked up Bo Nix. We were all laughing at you, partly because you talked up Bo Nix and then you accidentally drafted Michael Penix, but twice. That was one of the greatest moments of all time.
That was. How embarrassing.
But you were the one, you were there from the beginning before even the NFL draft. You were on the Bo Nix train, and it's happening. It's real.
I was. I see Mr. Magic in the chat.
Mr. Magic's in here. Jaskin, another J.K. Dobbins question. We've gotten a lot of J.K. Dobbins questions already over the last 24 hours. J.K. Dobbins or Tajay Spears, full PPR. Still up in the air on Tony Pollard, whether he's playing or not.
Sounds like he's going to go.
Yeah, does that change anything if he does or doesn't?
I mean, maybe just a touch, but not as far as the answer to this question. The answer is Dobbins.
Yeah, I agree. I think we got to go J.K. Dobbins here.
Dobbins at the height of his 6 or 7 game run of being a solid RB1, he was averaging 15.7 points a game. I mean, you can't just. That's not something that you should be, splitting hairs between him and somebody that's sharing a backfield.
Yeah, and Dobbins, he's in a better offense, good matchup. Kamani Vidal, really, as much as I love Kamani Vidal, he just hasn't played very well when he's gotten the opportunity.
And there's no Gus Edwards.
No Gus Edwards. How about from Jay? Thank you, Jay, for the $2 super chat.
Hey, Jay, thanks.
Bo Nix or Jared Goff?
I'm going to look at my rankings, but I know I'm a big Goff fan this week.
Yeah, so it's actually funny. So Jay originally asked us Sam Darnold or Bo Nix. I said I have Sam Darnold and Bo Nix ranked back-to-back QB6, QB7. Well, guess who my QB8 is? That's Jared Goff.
Okay, well, I said I had Sam Darnold and Bo Nix separated by 2, and one of the ones in the middle is Jared Goff. I'll take Jared Goff over Nix.
Okay, that's fair.
I recognize that San Francisco is not an ideal matchup, but I think they're mailing it in at this point.
Oh, that team is dying. Yes,
they're mailing it in, and Detroit is just smashing on all cylinders right now. So I'm real big on Goff this week.
I mean, this probably shouldn't factor into it, but it's fantasy championship week. It's Monday Night Football. How fun would it be to sit there, have something at stake, Monday Night Football, hoping that Jared Goff takes you to the title, the last game of the fantasy football season?
Yeah, and then your living room ceiling opens up and confetti dumps down.
Yes. Well, that's what happens with mine.
Yeah,
Almost every week.
Mine too. It's strung up. I don't know. It's been a long time since the confetti got opened up. It's probably like a dead clown up there or something too.
How about James Conner or Jerome Ford, PPR?
Ooh. What are the chances that James Conner finishes this game?
70%.
Man, that's a pretty good one. What do you think?
I'm gonna if for me, if James Conner is playing, I'm gonna trust James Conner that he's gonna play. He's gonna be out there. He's gonna play the whole game. He's gonna be semi close to his usual self. I'm just gonna trust it. I'm gonna roll with him. I'm gonna play him. I got him as my RB14. I got Jerome Ford as my RB18. I'm just gonna roll with James Conner.
Okay. So you don't even think that you have to worry about Benson taking carries during the game. He's just there as insurance if Connor's out.
Yeah, I mean he wasn't taking carries on a significant number of carries at least.
No, you got
beforehand anyway, and he's also injured.
Drive every once in a while, and that was it. Yeah.
But he's also coming in injured. He's probably more injured. He missed last week altogether.
Well, I'm gonna have to go against you on this one.
Okay, all right.
Miami's had a hard time with the run lately, and Jerome Ford, even if you take out the 260-yard runs the last 2 weeks, he's been playing awfully well, and he's the only thing there in Cleveland for them to do. So I'm going to go Ford this week. I've got him ranked about 6 spots higher than Connor.
Well, let's stick with the theme here. Well, actually, hold on one second. There's a second part of this question: Raiders or Chargers defense? Raiders are playing the Saints. Chargers playing the Patriots.
I'm assuming that I've got the Chargers higher, but I do have Raiders as a sleeper this week.
It's got to be interesting. You're going against Spencer Rattler.
Yeah.
I think the Patriots are more likely to score more points. Still don't think they're going to score a lot of points. And while Spencer Rattler may be a little more susceptible to sacks and turnovers, it's not like Drake May is playing a clean game. He's turning it over almost every week. He's getting sacked.
Right. I've got Chargers ranked 5th and the Raiders ranked 8th. I don't think you can really go wrong with either one. Both teams are going to be susceptible to turnovers. I do think that the Raiders are more likely to get sacks than the Chargers, just because of May's ability to get out of the pocket.
And I think here we can just use the fact that the Chargers just overall are a far better defensive unit, just on their own compared to the Raiders. I think we just use that as the tiebreaker and go Chargers.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's hard for me not to say the Raiders just with how bad the Saints looked last week, but
don't drop them though. Keep them on your bench. You don't want your opponent to scoop them up and play them against you.
Yeah.
How about from David? David is asking James Conner or J.K. Dobbins, full PPR.
I'm all in on Dobbins this week. I'm all in. I'm making no apologies for it. And I'm really going to catch hell if I'm wrong. But I'm all in on Dobbins. This is closer than it should be. But I'm actually more concerned about the possibility of Connor being banged up than Dobbins.
Okay, that's fair. I like that. I can get behind that. What about James Conner or AJ Brown full PPR?
That's AJ Brown,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah. AJ Brown is. I mean, we saw it last week. Just the perfect example of how backup quarterbacks, bad quarterbacks, they come in and they lock in on their number one wide receiver. And
Yeah,
we saw
first three.
AJ Brown have a 60% target share last week with Kenny
Yeah,
Pickett at quarterback. I don't expect that necessarily, but Kenny Pickett is going to lock in on AJ Brown. He's going to pepper him with targets. I'm more concerned about Devontae Smith. I have Devontae Smith very far down my rankings this week. AJ Brown, I'm not worried about. I would, like you said, I would play him over
yeah.
James
The
Conner.
first read is the easiest one to play.
Yeah,
When you've got somebody like Pickett, you don't want him looking at the second read. It takes him
right.
too long.
Yeah,
That's when he gets sacked. I've got AJ Brown as my 7th overall wide receiver this week, even with Kenny Pickett. So
yeah, yeah. So these backup quarterbacks, even if the efficiency is down, the volume will make up for it. What about Zach Ertz or Juwan Johnson?
this guy's from Sweden. Um, no, seriously, I know him. He's from
Okay,
he's
that's a
from
hell of a
Sweden,
guess.
or maybe it's Switzerland.
Oh no! Look what you've done.
um, Zach Ertz or Juwan Johnson. I think I'm gonna, just because the Saints are so dysfunctional right now. I think I gotta go with Ertz. I'm not saying he's gonna have a fantastic game, but I kind of felt good about Juwan Johnson last week, and he didn't really do much. Um, so yeah, final answer. I'm going with Zach Ertz.
Yeah, I agree. Did you what happened? I don't know if you saw much of it. I didn't really see anything of it. Zach Ertz and Nick Sirianni got into some altercation after the game last week. Did you see
Altercation
that?
like fisticuffs, or like they yelled at each other?
I think it was more yelling at each other, but I think it was close.
Oh, really?
That's what I
I
heard.
did not know that. I missed that.
Okay. How about half PPR? Jordan Love, Kyler Murray, or Bryce Young at quarterback?
Jordan Love, Kyler Murray, Bryce Young. Man.
That's exactly my thoughts.
Um, I'm gonna say Love. I'm gonna say Love, and surprisingly, I'd say Young second.
Okay. All right.
Um, because I'm so tired of Kyler being disappointing.
You know, I
But I think Love, if you've got him, you got to play him.
I think this is the Love week. Love
Yeah,
is last time they played the Vikings, he threw the ball 54 times. That was his season high pass attempts. I don't know if he's going to quite get to that number,
yeah, he's
but
not
just
going to do that again.
not going
But
to do that again. But just shows you the type of game that these two teams are going to play against each other. This is not going to be 34-0 against the Saints where he just has to
right,
throw the ball 25 times and just run it with Josh Jacobs for 3 touchdowns. This is going to be a ton of fantasy points, a ton of real life points, lots of passing, lots of scoring. They're going to lean on Jordan Love in this game. So I would definitely fire him up. If
so
you,
start Jordan Love and bet the over.
what about in the flex spot, James Cook or J.K. Dobbins?
James Cook.
I agree. This is the first time I've picked James Cook all year.
You hate James Cook. Have you seen his stats, by the way? Because they're pretty good.
Lots of touchdowns in there.
There are, but there's also lots of yards in there as well.
Sure, but he plays below 50% of the snaps every week.
Well,
He's
just
not he's not he's
You just can't wait till James Cook is out of the league.
Well, he's gonna be out of the league pretty soon.
Right, because your guy is going to take his
Ray Davis. Oh yeah, Ray Davis. But no, I think overall James Cook is an overrated running back. You take him out of the Josh Allen offense, and we're not even having this conversation. He's no Dalvin, that's for sure.
He's James Dalvin Cook. That's his name.
I think you've told me that before. Is that actually his name?
That's actually his name, James Dalvin Cook, and Dalvin Cook's name is Dalvin James Cook.
I do remember you telling me that. That's hilarious. Tajay Spears. We got no questions. Tajay Spears. What have you seen him lately? Have you watched him play a little bit?
Tajay Spears?
Yeah.
Like lately?
Yeah, the last couple of weeks. Any highlights? Yeah. Okay. Any what does he make you think of when you see him? With his with his Guardian cap on. He looks like he's got a tiny little body and a giant mushroom head.
Right. It looks kind of like a Lego man.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out on the show that I was doing last night. They were throwing some things at me. I can't remember what it was called, but it was exactly what I was talking about. These little figurines with these tiny little bodies and the big giant heads. That's all I see every time I see Tajay Spears running. I don't know why I thought of that just now or why I brought it up. Probably because we don't have any questions.
Well, I'm still glad you did because now I'm going to look for it.
You're gonna see it. It's hilarious every time you watch him. I don't know. Like I see other players with the Guardian caps, like Roshan Johnson, but his head seems to match his body. Where Tajay Spears, it just doesn't match.
Is it hilarious that the man is taking care of himself, Alex?
No, I think they should all be wearing Guardian caps. They just
that would just look ridiculous. It would look like an old school Nintendo game with like heads running around.
Who cares? They're all safer. But that I don't know. That's just what I see when I see Tajay Spears. Just it is what it is.
Man, it's I guess everybody's already. Well, you know what they did? Everybody unloaded their questions last night.
Yeah, we got a lot of questions last night. Well, part of it is when I did my bonus start sit show last night. I probably took about 30, 40 minutes. And then I was like, all right, we're kind of winding down here. Don't have a lot of questions. Then all of a sudden, 45 minutes into it, they just started coming at me.
Yeah, it was like 25 after. And you're like, so we're probably just going to go till past. And next thing I know, it's like 5 minutes to showtime. And I'm like, I'm going to go have a cigarette before I come back in and log in. I was surprised you actually even shut down the feed. I figured I would just like.
I had to tell them to stop asking me questions.
I just figured I'd fucking plug the microphone in and you'd send me a link and I would just jump on that feed.
Yeah.
We'd keep it going.
Well, all right. So last night, we just got to find things to talk about until we get more questions. So last night, you didn't like my my Baker Mayfield Buccaneers heading to the Super Bowl prediction?
I did, actually. I quite enjoyed it. What did I say right after we went off the air? Like Baker Super Bowl maker or something.
I did notice you started saying something as I ended the show, I think.
Yeah, I started to, and then I was like, oh wait, he's gonna do the dramatic end of show moment.
We always gotta end with drama on that show. I don't know why. Just look at what I like to do. Oh, Callie Colts fan, thank you so much. Callie Colts fan Joe. Pick 2, full PPR. AJ Brown, T. Higgins, Adam Thielen, Cooper Kupp.
Whoa.
Loaded team. We got to pick 2.
Wow. Is this just a flex? Is he coming in here just to flex how good his team is?
Yeah, that's clearly what this is.
It's definitely AJ Brown.
Yeah.
And it's definitely T. Higgins.
I agree. As much as I really want to play Adam Thielen this week, there's still
Yep.
plenty of risk involved. The fact that he's Adam Thielen and his quarterback is Bryce Young. Something bad can happen at any moment with that team, with that offense.
And they have no running back.
That is true.
And I like Cup under the radar this week. He's getting disrespected pretty bad, but he's still not in the same territory as AJ Brown and T. Higgins.
Yeah. We already talked about AJ Brown, where Kenny Pickett is just going to lock in on AJ Brown, and T. Higgins. I know it's a tough matchup. There's a chance that he sees a lot of Pat Surtain, but the Bengals are in desperation mode. There could be a little shootout in that game. Could be a lot of points, a lot of passing. I don't think you can sit T. Higgins at this point. I know he's coming a little banged up, but I'm going to trust it.
He's had a great stretch of games. So I mean, how you can sit him now, I'm not sure.
He's playing to get paid. He's going to get paid. He might be my neighbor pretty soon.
Maybe.
Might be. We'll see. I don't know how I feel about that. But Patriots.
You've got Butte, though.
We do. We do have a nice Butte.
You do have a nice Butte.
No T. Higgins, though. He's no T. Higgins. I hope they. I don't know if it's the right thing to go and sign T. Higgins, but I do think it would be fun. It would be great to have, just somebody just to help the development of Drake May and help the evaluation of Drake May. But I also hope they invest in a wide receiver in the draft as well. Maybe not at the 2, 3, 4, wherever they're picking, the top 5 there, but at some point, and hopefully get it right this time. I mean,
right.
Over two regimes now have drafted wide receivers highly, and they just can't get it right. Jalen Polk is terrible. Javon Baker can't even get on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody help this man out. Help Drake May, please.
Yeah, Higgins is especially good for a young quarterback because he is very athletic and he is able to snatch passes that he has no business catching, and pull stuff down out of the air that's, not quite on the money. But at the same time, he does come with an injury history. And it's like, he will miss several games every year. Like it's a guaranteed at this point.
Yeah. And he's shown that even pre Jamar Chase, he can be a team's number 1 wide receiver and be productive. He was productive that rookie year in 2020 as the number 1 in that offense. So I know there's some people who say that, T. Higgins is productive because he's got Jamar Chase taking away, coverage on the other side. Well, I'm sure that doesn't hurt things. He can be the guy in an offense on his own.
Yeah, for somebody that's watched as much Bengals as I have, I can tell you too that I've often used that to describe the way wide receiver 2s, kind of make their money. It's because wide receiver 1s are getting all the attention. But a lot of times when Higgins is making these catches, Jamar Chase is wide open too. And it's just so happens that Higgins was who got looked at, So it's not like he's only getting it as like the second read, the second option. So
there was at one point earlier in the year where T. Higgins was out targeting Jamar Chase for a stretch of games.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, it's just that Jamar's one target always went for 70 yards and a touchdown.
Right. That's not the style of play.
He can be covered.
Yeah. T. Higgins is more of your, he's going to make a play, on the outside, down the field, but that's it. He's not going to be the guy who takes the ball, catches, runs for 70 yards like Jamar Chase, which is fine. Hopefully they can go draft a guy like that.
Right.
Um, how do you feel as Bengals fan? Do you think they're going to bring back T Higgins? Are you okay with the next guys up? Jermaine Burton, Andre Yoshivas. Would you want them to
um,
go
I
replace
don't.
him somewhere?
I don't think they'll bring him back. Um, I think they should. Um, Bengals fans are a strange crew, because they're like, well, Burrow is willing to take a pay cut so we keep Chase. Well, he didn't, and now they're like, well, Chase is willing to take a pay cut so we can keep Higgins, and Chase is like, You know what I mean? There's a lot different that they say in the media than they actually do behind closed doors.
Right.
I don't think they're going to pay, because what T. Higgins wants is just barely a step below what Chase wants.
Yeah.
And I think the Bengals called his bluff and basically said, show us an entire season where you don't get hurt. And he was not able to do that.
Couldn't even make week 1.
Huh?
He couldn't even make week 1.
Yeah. So, yeah, and that came out of nowhere. It was like a last minute tweak right before the game.
Yep.
I'm okay with Yoshi taking over that role. He is very athletic. He's a talented dude. He makes some bonehead mistakes. Burton, I don't know what to make of him. The guy's a moron.
Yes.
He really is, and he gives up on routes easily, and apparently he doesn't know the playbook very well, and he was caught sleeping in team meetings earlier this season. So I don't know. And like 3 days later, somebody was recording him sitting at a casino at like 3:30 in the morning playing slot machines.
Yes. What the hell, man, dude? Like, what is wrong with you?
Right. So, yeah, I don't know if it's just, I'm guessing it's just immaturity, because athletically he's off the charts. So he should be great as wide receiver 3, if not more.
Well, that was the whole thing of him coming out of college too. He was a bonehead in college. He couldn't latch on to one school. I think he bounced around a couple times.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
How about Henny? Henny is asking when the Ravens win the Super Bowl and Lamar Jackson wins MVP. How we feeling?
Screw you, Henny.
Honestly, I would love to see that. As just a neutral football NFL fan, I love Lamar Jackson. I would love to see him hoisting that Lombardi trophy. Also, even maybe I shouldn't admit this as a Patriots fan, I'd kind of like to see the Bills win.
Well, I feel like Henny is just saying this because this is just like a Ravens fan. He's like, there's way too much talk about another AFC North team. Let me steer this conversation back to Edgar Allan Poesville.
The Ravens fans, they like to do that a little bit. They like to they always think they're going to win. But
you want to always think you're going to win. And when you have a quarterback like that, that's fair.
Yeah. I remember the feeling.
I mean, we felt like that for a while, and then Anarumo got a hold of the defense, and then forget about it.
But Tony Romo says that I can't say his name, is the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Dude, okay, so here's the thing. People all around this league talk about Anarumo and how he's about to be a head coach, and he's head coach in waiting and everything. And I'm like, take him, somebody, because he's an idiot.
All right.
He plays prevent defense the whole game.
Yeah. All right. Well, Henny is going to continue to talk shit in the chat, which I'm all here for. Bring it on. How about Tony Pollard or Jerome Ford?
Is this an actual question?
Yeah, not from YouTube though.
Oh, are you TikToking?
Yeah, I gave up. I had to fill it.
Tony Pollard. I'll take Jerome Ford.
Yeah, gotta be Jerome Ford there. How about Drake May or Bryce Young?
Ooh, I'm gonna take Bryce Young this week.
Yeah, I think I might also lean Bryce Young there.
I'm surprised to be saying that.
I do have Drake May considerably higher. But Drake May, I mean, Bryce Young is a great play this week. I think he's a great streamer if you need one. Fantastic matchup, good game environment.
The last several weeks, Andy's running the ball more. So,
how are you handling this Panthers running back situation with Chuba Hubbard out?
Don't touch him. I say don't touch him. You want Mike Boone? Really?
No. There was a time. There was a day. There was a time.
Mike Boone like 80.
Feels like it. There was a time where I kind of liked Mike Boone. I thought he was going to be a thing.
Yeah, I did too. In Denver, I thought Mike Boone was going to be a thing.
He's
and where's he before that? Minnesota.
He's been Minnesota. Yeah, behind Dalvin Cook and Latavius Murray or something for a couple of years. I don't know.
Yeah, and Raheem Blackshear. I mean, if he had really had anything to offer, we'd have seen him get some more carries. You know, just kind of every once in a while, I don't know. You know, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it, and I'm definitely not buying it for championship week. I'm not picking up a Carolina Panthers running back and plugging him into my lineup.
That's one of those situations where you just hope that your opponent picks him up and plugs him into his lineup or her lineup.
If they hadn't put Miles Sanders on the IR, I'd be more willing to entertain that.
All right, yeah.
Over either one of these guys. But they just did that, last week?
Miles Sanders? Miles Sanders been out for 2 months.
No. But he was on IR designated to return.
Oh, okay. And then they said,
I think the practice window was opened for him last week. And then instead of opening the practice window, they put him on season ending.
Maybe they'll trade up in the second round and drop another running back this year.
Well, they're not going to have Jonathan Brooks until 26. So.
That's true. I guess we didn't offend Henny too much because he dropped a sub. We appreciate that.
Because what?
He dropped a sub.
All right.
Yeah. How about Lucas is asking, start 2, Cooper Kupp, Marvin Harrison Jr., Calvin Ridley. Easy, right? Easy.
I'm going Ridley and Kupp.
Yes, absolutely. Easy. Yeah. Marvin Harrison Jr., I want nothing to do with Marvin Harrison Jr. If last week was the perfect opportunity for him to have a big week. The Panthers and the Cardinals were in a shootout. There were a lot of points scored in that game. I believe they were trailing most of that game, so they were in comeback mode. It's going against the Panthers. Everybody torches the Panthers. Marvin Harrison Jr. goes out there and catches 4 for 39.
Right.
I don't think he's had a game over a 50% catch rate all season.
I just don't know what they've got. What does his route tree look like?
Straight ahead. Straight ahead, buddy. That's all you do.
But is it? Because I keep seeing him catch balls in the middle of the field, and I'm like, I would rather see him going straight ahead. You know what I mean?
What they're not doing is they're not putting him in situations to just catch the easy stuff.
Right.
Where you see all these other wide receivers around the league where they'll give him, a handful of easy targets every game while also working them on the tough stuff down the field. Right. Marvin Harrison Jr. doesn't get any of that easy stuff. They're just sending him deep, sending him in these low percentage, low efficiency passing situations where he has to win one-on-one situations, where he has to win contested balls, and he's not winning it. He's not
Yeah.
winning in those contested situations nearly enough. And his I've seen Josh Norris tweet about it weekly. His frustration with Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyler Murray just not being on the same page on like those back shoulder throws, because that's the type of play that Marvin Harrison Jr. should be thriving on. You take his
Yeah.
route tree with what he's doing on the outside. Off of that, you should be able to hook up on multiple back shoulder plays every single week. And they try it, and their timing and their connection is just not there on those
I
throws.
agree.
I don't know what to make of Marvin Harrison Jr. moving on into 2025 and beyond from like a dynasty perspective.
Well,
I mean,
I think it'll come around. We've just gotten too used to some of the guys coming out of college and blowing up immediately.
Yeah.
The talent is there, obviously. The only reason I sort of balked at this question for a moment is because I had a couple this morning where I just said, you know, if you are already down big in your game and you need a home run, then maybe you're going to go with Marvin Harrison. But in this question, you can get the home run out of Kupp and Ridley too. So,
right.
I mean, that really doesn't make any difference.
Yeah. How about from Julio? Do you think T. Higgins plays?
Yes. Yes, he's active.
Yeah, he's going to play. Fire him up. How about from Ryan? Ryan is asking, do you feel comfortable starting Amir Abdullah this week?
Not if I can help it. I feel comfortable with 8 points and a chance at a touchdown.
Yeah, this is just not the game environment for Amir Abdullah. This is more of an Alexander Madison game where, because they're not going to be playing from behind. They're not going to be a lot of points scored in this game. There's not going to be a lot of passing in that game. They're going to have no problem. Even the Raiders can handle the Saints in this game.
Yeah,
if
Abdullah gets, you know, like 4 for 40 on catches and maybe another 10 yards rushing, then the only way he's going to help you is if he finds pay dirt.
Yeah, if Alexander Madison was still out like he was a couple of weeks ago, I'd be all for it.
Yeah,
because we were getting a pretty good roll there from Amir Abdullah. In this situation, I think I almost talked about Alexander Madison and just felt too gross on our Sleepers and Streamers show last night. I almost brought Alexander Madison to the table. I'm happy that I didn't, because it just felt disgusting. But
I think I do that earlier.
I think you could make a case for him.
Did I do that with Madison earlier this year? Because we'd been making fun of him for weeks.
I know.
And then I think I busted him out in one of the Sleeper episodes, and I was like, I can't believe I'm saying this.
No, you brought Kendre Miller last week instead. R.I.P.
And the week before.
The week before.
And this week. Well, I didn't bring him this week, but I believe in him this week.
Yeah, well, because you didn't bring him this week, this is going to be the week.
Yeah, he's going to tear up the Raiders.
All right. How about Isaac Guerendo or Jerome Ford? I don't know. I think we're still pretty up in the air on Guerendo. I don't know if he's playing or not. Monday Night Football, so we don't get the.
It sounded to me like he was going to. Like they're still listing him as questionable, but that there have been so many other injuries that it's actually taken the microscope off of Guerendo a little bit.
Yeah.
So you haven't heard that much about him. But I think yesterday at some point, I saw a quote, I think from him, saying he was planning on playing.
That would be fantastic.
And the Niners have Detroit.
Yeah, Lions on Monday Night Football.
If Guerendo's playing, I'm going Guerendo.
All right, that's cool. What about second part of Ryan's question? Would you go Amir Abdullah or Zach Ertz?
Oh, what did you say?
Amir Abdullah or Zach Ertz? He lost CeeDee Lamb, and he already
Oh,
He already sat DK Metcalf.
that's
Well,
not bad though, because
actually,
DK had a
Metcalf didn't
shitty
do
game.
anything.
So
Yeah,
all
you're right.
right.
You're right. You're right.
No
He dodged the
judgment
bullet.
here.
He dodged the bullet there.
Yeah, very wise choice. Very, very savvy choice, Telly. Very savvy choice there, benching DK. I'd play Ertz over Abdullah.
Okay, that's fair. He's pretty
Especially
much,
with De'Ami Brown still out.
yeah, he's essentially the wide receiver 2 in that offense at this point. Good matchup against the Falcons. Sunday Night Football, which that I'm kind of excited for that game. We're gonna get the Penix on the big stage against Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix, and Jaden Daniels. Sunday Night Football, head to head. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, so I've got, I think, a slam dunk bet this week.
Ooh.
Is basically it's a prop. It's basically Penix to throw for more yards than he did last week. And he's playing almost an identical defense as far as their numbers against the pass goes. Washington versus the Giants. Last week he threw for, I think, 200.9, and the prop is over under 201 now. And I was like, smash that over, man. They want to turn them loose so bad and give Atlanta something to be really excited about.
Well, they had no reason to ask him to drop back last week at all.
Yeah, because they just crushed last week. It was 34-7, I think.
Yeah, and he still threw for 200 yards. So this week they're probably gonna be playing from behind. They're going to have to throw against the Commanders, and they got to win this game. They're in position to make the playoffs at this point.
Yeah. Yep.
How about Brian's asking, he had Chuba Hubbard and now it needs to pivot. Would you go Brian Robinson Jr. or Jerome Ford in a full PPR league?
I'd go Jerome Ford.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up my rankings, but I believe I am going to lean that way as well. Yeah, I got Jerome Ford at running back 18, Brian Robinson Jr. and RB 21. So that's who I would go with as well.
Yeah, they're pretty close, but I like the chances of Atlanta being able to bottle up Brian Robinson. And I'll take just the usage, the volume alone for Jerome Ford.
Yeah. How about Adam Thielen or Juwan Jennings?
Oh boy. I like Juwan Jennings this week.
I love Juwan Jennings this week, but I also really like Adam Thielen this week.
I do too.
I think
here's the thing. I've been leaning Adam Thielen anytime someone says his name, just because I'm so convinced he's league winner Adam Thielen. So I keep saying Adam Thielen, and then I'm like, well, do I believe that? But I like Juwan this week, though.
I love Juwan Jennings this week. I'm still going to lean Thielen, though. How about from Frank? Frank is asking J.K. Dobbins or Jordan Addison?
Ooh. I'm going to go with Addison. I'm going to stick to what I said. If you got a guy in that game, play him. And I know you hate Addison.
I do.
I usually do as well.
But he's been playing really well.
Yes, he has.
The offense is playing really well. The game environment is ripe for a ton of fantasy points. I think we got to do it. We're here to win championships. We're here to take that swing, go for the ceiling play, and I think that's going to be Jordan Addison this week.
Yep.
4 minutes. 4 minutes. How about Cooper Kupp or Calvin Ridley?
I'm going to say Calvin Ridley. I like him against Jacksonville this week.
Okay, Calvin Ridley. How about Antonio Gibson or Audric Estime?
I can't figure out what the fuck Denver's doing with their running backs.
Well, apparently Jaleel McLaughlin's now back too. He's going to play.
Yeah, that's correct. Which leads me to believe that Javonte Williams is now the pass catcher where he was the runner. And McLaughlin, who was the third, is now the runner, and Estime is back to being the third. They keep rotating these guys around.
But then Sean Payton just talked him up earlier in the week, saying he deserves more opportunities.
Well, I mean, it's a difference between deserves and do I have them to give him?
Right.
I'm gonna.
I'm gonna go Antonio Gibson. Just fuck it. Go Gibson.
I'm gonna go with Gibson.
Yeah. Ramondre Stevenson's been a fumbling machine.
Well, he's also running up against that tough front of Los Angeles, so they might have to do a little more throwing out to the edge.
Yeah. How about Jalen McMillan or Josh Downs?
Jalen McMillan or who?
Josh Downs.
Jalen.
Yeah, I agree. Jalen McMillan. Should be a big week for him. Brian Robinson or Jordan Addison? We're going Addison here.
Yep.
How about Josh Down or Raheem Blackshear?
Josh Downs.
Yeah, Josh Downs. We knew we'd get a Blackshear question in there at some point.
Oh man,
we kind of already addressed that backfield anyway. Just we want nothing to do with it. There's not going to be a lot of points from that backfield this week, I don't think. How about Ramondre Stevenson or Tony Pollard?
Man, you know, it's hard because I don't know what his actual makeup is as far as the injury goes.
Yeah.
I would go with Ramondre. And honestly, part of it is because I generally would lean Ramondre when I think I shouldn't. And because when I think I should, he does shitty. And when I think I shouldn't, he does great. So I think I shouldn't. So I think he's going to have a great game.
Okay. So Ramondre.
Yes. Did I describe that okay for you?
Perfectly. How about James Conner or Chase Brown?
Chase Brown, easily.
Chase Brown, yeah, easy. J.K. Dobbins. This question is gotta be for you. J.K. Dobbins or Kendre Miller?
Oh, J.K. Dobbins.
J.K. Dobbins. Tajay Spears, Devontae Smith, Rico Dowdle. Pick one.
I think Dowdle.
Rico Dowdle, yeah, I agree. How about Khalil Shakir or Cortland Sutton? This is gonna be our last question.
Sutton,
I agree with that as well. All right, so that is our last start sit show of the year. And where can the people find you to ask questions for you on Twitter tomorrow morning?
Tomorrow morning, I will be on Twitter from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. I'm at buy and sell you. I'll have a thread, or you can just tag me in any questions you put on my fantasy league or anything like that as well.
You can also find my rankings at yardsperfantasy.com. We have a start sit tool on yardsperfantasy.com as well. You can also find us in the Yards Per Fantasy Discord. The link to that is in the description of this video. Check that out. Thank you to everybody who tuned into this show. All of our shows all season long. It's been a fantastic season. Don't go away. We're going to be here strong in 2025, in the off season, all through this winter, spring, summer. We're going to be back. Stick with us. Thank you, everybody.